Welcome to the Liberating River, where spiritual freedom meets soul-aligned wealth. I'm your guide, Wanda F. Nesbitt. Let's break free, build boldly, and live fully together.
Today, we are not talking about production. We are not talking about hustle. We are not talking about optimization. We are talking about something more powerful. Signal versus static. That's what we're talking about. And I want you to really let this sit and land within you. Most people are tuned to static, not because they are incapable, not because they lack discipline, not because they are unintelligent, but because static has been normalized. Noise has been normalized. Fear has been normalized. Comparison has been normalized. Urgency has been normalized. And clarity? Well, honestly, clarity is unfamiliar. Silence feels threatening. Stillness feels unsafe. Think about it. When was the last time you sat still? How did you really feel? Unless you constantly do that, sit still and be silent, you feel uncomfortable. But let me educate you real quick. Wealth, real wealth, is not built in chaos. It's not. It is built in the unseen. And it begins in silence. Let that settle in your mind and your body for a minute. And let this settle inside of you. Unfortunately, noise has been normalized. We live in a society where static has been engineered into our lives. We have the notifications, we have the opinions, we have the outrage cycles, we have the financial fear narratives, we have the comparison culture, we have the achievement pressure, the constant input, the constant reaction, the constant urgency. We are being trained to react, not reflect, to respond instantly, not discern carefully, to move fast, but not aligned. And when you live in that type of environment for such a long time, you begin to believe that speed equals significance, that noise equals importance, that pressure equals purpose, and that is static. Static is what happens when input overwhelms discernment. Static is what happens when survival energy never turns off. Where's the turn off switch? Static is what happens when the nervous system never feels safe enough to rest. And when the nervous system doesn't feel safe, the mind can't. It cannot send a clean signal. And you know where that takes us? It takes us down this road of survivor mode. So let's slow this down a little bit. Let's really think about this. When your body believes it is under threat, what happens? What happens? Real or perceived? Your brain shifts into protection mode. And what is protection mode? Your vision narrows. You scan for danger. You anticipate loss. You tighten control. You react quickly. You do not plan long term. You do not reflect deeply. You do not weigh options carefully. And why is that? It's because you're surviving. Stress narrows perception. However, safety expands it. And the truth is, that's not philosophy. That's biology. Think about it. When you drop something, when you stub your toe, your body instantly reacts. When your nervous system feels safe, the prefrontal cortex becomes online. It jumps online. And you gain access to discernment, planning, impulsive control, long-term thinking, um, value alignment. That's what happens. You regain perspective. But when you're flooded with static, you lose access to clarity. Your perception is off. And then you begin to wonder, why do my decisions feel rushed? Why does money feel heavy? Why can I never keep money? Why is this always happening to me? Why does my energy feel drained? Why do I keep reacting instead of responding? It's not because you lack discipline. It's because you lack signal. And unfortunately, static sounds more familiar than the signal. The voices of the voices of static is you're behind. You don't have enough. You need to hurry. You can't slow down. If I rest, I'll lose momentum. If you ask for more, they'll reject you. If you make that move, it will collapse. Static always speaks in urgency. Static always speaks in fear. Static always speaks in absolute. And because you've heard it long enough, it feels like your own voice. But static is conditioned. It is a conditional thought that has been holding space in your mind. And that conditioned thought is not your identity. It's rehearsed. It has been part of a rehearsal that you have been rehearsing naturally. But one thing about a rehearsal, anything, if anybody knows about any kind of rehearsals, a rehearsal can be stopped and interrupted. You are not your anxiety. You are not your fear loops. You are not your inherited scarcity scripts. You are the awareness observing them. The awareness observing them. What do you mean? That's signal. And do you know what your signal is? It's your command center. And do you know what the command center is? Your mind. Your mind is the command center. Every repeated thought becomes instructions. So if you rehearse fear, something's going to happen. If you rehearse scarcity, something's going to happen. What happens? You wire fear, you wire scarcity. If you rehearse urgency, you wire urgency. Thought becomes emotion. Emotion becomes decision. Decision becomes a pattern. A pattern becomes identity. Identity produces outcome. So before there is wealth in your account, please know there is belief in your mind. Before there is peace in your life, there is safety in your body. Before there is discipline, there is internal governance. The unseen governs the seen. If your internal signal is distorted, you know what's going to happen. Your external life will reflect distortion. But if your internal signal is clear, your external life begins to align. That is not manifestation hype. That's actually cognitive science. And for those who are wondering, it is spiritual law. What should the signal feel like? The signal is not dramatic. The signal is not loud. The signal is not frantic. The signal is steady. So the signal will sound, pause, wait, not yet, yes, but calmly, no, and I'm at peace with that. No, no. I'm going to keep saying no because we have to understand that no is an okay word to use. We don't need to say yes to everything. And you need to have peace with the fact that you're able to say no. Signal feels grounded in the body. Static feels tight. Signal expands the chest. Static constricts it. Signal is measured. Static is reactive. Signal does not chase. Static chases everything. Signal does not panic. Static panics constantly. Signal does not need validation. Static is addicted to validation. And this right here, this is so important. Most people mistake anxiety for intuition, but intuition is calm. Fear is loud. Intuition whispers. Fear shouts. Intuition is consistent. Fear is frantic. You must learn the difference because your wealth depends on it. Your family depends on it. So how do we do this? How do we start to work on this? We need to start a calibration. We need to recalibrate. And the one thing that helps with recalibrating is silence. Silence is where the signal becomes audible. But silence scares people who live in static. And why is that? Unfortunately, but fortunately, because silence reveals. What does silence reveal? It reveals who you are, where you're misaligned, where you are aligned, what you are tolerating, what you are not tolerating, what you're afraid to release, what you truly desire. Silence exposes truth, and truth requires courage. Silence is not laziness. Silence is calibration. When you sit in stillness, do you know what happens? Your breathing slows. I know this because I do this. I meditate about 30 to 40 minutes daily before I do anything to clear my mind, to forget most of the stuff that happened the day before, because most of the times there's no reason for me to bring it over. Start afresh. And when you do sit in stillness, in silence, your breathing slows. And why is that? Because your nervous system is beginning to regulate. Your body is remembering safety. And when your nervous system begins to regulate, that's when clarity enters. And when clarity enters, what happens? Decision making changes. And when decision making changes, what inevitably happens? Your life changes. And when your life changes, your income, your wealth, your energy, your relationship, all of those different aspects of your life change. You don't need louder motivation. You need deeper regulation. And it starts with being silent.
Stay tuned. To be continued. Coming next week. Thanks for flowing with us on the Liberating River. Subscribe, share, and come back next week for more wisdom, wealth, and alignment. Stay free, stay grounded, stay bold.